Anesthesia, documenting a drug infusion. In another video, we looked at how to document the administration of drugs within the anesthesia solution. In this video, we'll look at how you can document an infusion. Any drug within the anesthetic solution can be given as a bolus or as an infusion. For example, when you open any medication, at the very top, there is the option for a bolus and there's an option for an infusion. As an example, let's set up a metronidazole infusion. I have found metronidazole in my to-do list. If you can't find this drug, you can always go to documentation, under medication, and then within the subheadings, you can find the drugs you're after. I found the metronidazole, click on edit. I want to give an infusion, so choose infusion. It will start by showing you the standard concentration, which is 10 milligrams in a ml. So I'm going to be giving 20 milligrams in 40 mils of saline. So in the diluent section, I will choose saline. I will choose 40 mils. Untick the product with the total volume. Therefore, it gives you the correct final concentration, which is 20 milligrams in 40 mils. Below that, you will see a bar. The green line indicates when the infusion is starting. You can click and drag this line to a different point in the timeline if you would like to adjust when the infusion started. You can do the same by adjusting the time in the time field. You can then document the infusion either based on a dosing infusion rate, a weight-based dose, or based on the rate that's set by the pump. You can change any of these rates by clicking on them and choosing different units if needed. I'm going to start my infusion at 5 mils an hour. So I set the 5 mils an hour, and you'll notice the rest of the values are automatically populated. You can confirm the route and the site. You can leave a comment if you choose, but once you're happy with all of that, click on execute. You'll notice that the infusion now has started. The green bar indicates when the infusion started, with the tail showing that the infusion is ongoing. You can see the current rate of the infusion and the total amount of drug that's been given so far. If at any point you need to change the rate of your infusion, so choose the point at which you want to change the infusion, right click, click on change metronidazole rate. Now you'll notice on the time bar, now you'll see a new blue bar. This blue bar indicates changes in the rate. The green is for start, there'll be a red at the very end for when it stops, and the blue is for when you change. Simply insert the new infusion rate. So I'm going to go up to 10 now, and then click OK. The infusion from the blue bar onwards, it'll be counting at 10 mils an hour. If you would like to make more changes, again choose the point in the timeline, right click, change the rate, and you do exactly the same. And when you're doing this, you'll also notice that based on what you've done so far, it's working out how much of the drug you are giving. Once you're happy, click OK. So every single blue bar here indicates a change. An alternative method to managing your changes in rate is to double click anywhere along the bar indicating the infusion. And you'll notice that you have these three icons on top of the time bar. The first one is the change. The second one is to stop. And the third one is if you want to remove anything. So for example, if the second change that I did here, if I would like to remove it, I would click on the X, mouse over the blue bar and click, and that will remove that change. If I would like to add another change, click on the triangle, pick the point on the timeline, insert a blue bar, and then I can indicate what the new rate is at that point. This gives you more flexibility in how you document. And let's say we're now ending the infusion, I would choose the stop circle, mouse over where I want to stop and click, and now the infusion started with 2 changes and it has stopped, at the end of which it tells you how much you've infused so far. Once you're happy with all that, click OK. This is also reflected on the chart. You can also get to the list of medications by clicking on the medications icon in the top toolbar. On here, it defaults to add. If you go to modify, you will see the list of all the drugs you have given so far. This is particularly useful if you've given multiple drugs, as these may become very crowded in the anesthetic chart itself. So on here, I can click on any drug. In this case, I can pick the metronidazole, and it'll bring back the same window we looked at earlier.